December 30, 1896. The crack of dawn. A forbidding silence grips the air. 6:30 a.m. The execution is underway. The victim takes his place before the firing squad. He invokes his right to face his executioners, refusing to be shot like a traitor, but is denied. 7:03 a.m. The shots ring out. The victim twists with a supreme effort of will to fall on his back. And in his death, the causes he believed in find new life. A life which would dwell in the minds of countless men and women for years to come. On June 19, 1861, in Calamba, a town south of Manila, Jose Rizal was born, the 7th of 11 children to Francisco Mercado and Teodora Alonso. Rizal was born in privileged circumstances, but more than that, his family provided him an environment rich in culture, learning, love, moral values, and a deep sense of nationalism and patriotism. Rizal's growing years were also greatly influenced by his older brother, Pasiano, who shared with the young Rizal his philosophy and nationalistic ideals. Rizal later immortalized the respect for his brother in the literary figure of Pilosopong Tasio in his classic novel, Noli me Tangere. 3 incidents in Rizal's young life opened his eyes to the gross injustice prevalent in the country under Spanish colonial rule. The first incident was at the age of 11 when his mother was imprisoned on a false charge of having connived to kill another woman. Rizal witnessed her humiliation as she walked barefoot to the prison 30 kilometers away. Rizal brought back to life this injustice in the person of Sisa, also in Noli me Tangere. Rizal made Sisa the character to represent all mothers' inherent love for their children. Second incident was when Rizal became a victim himself. He was whipped and jailed because he failed to doff his hat when he passed by a lieutenant of the Spanish Guardia Civil. The third event, which really aroused Rizal's sense of national consciousness, was the execution of the 3 priests, Burgos, Gomez, and Zamora, in 1872. It strengthened Rizal's yearning for justice and served as inspiration for one of his classic novels, El Filibusterismo. At the tender age of 21 on May the 1st, 1882, Rizal left the country for Europe in pursuit of higher education. By this time, Rizal had already obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree at the Ateneo Municipal and had begun his medical studies at the University of Santo Tomas in the Philippines. Rizal's first stop in Europe was Spain, where he obtained his licentiates in philosophy and letters, as well as in medicine at the Universidad Central de Madrid. Because of his mother's blindness, Rizal chose to specialize in ophthalmology, training under the best eye doctors in Paris and Heidelberg. Rizal traveled extensively, winning numerous friends and wooing countless women of different races, creeds, social classes, and vocations. Along the way, he also learned how to speak 22 foreign languages. Rizal would set foot on many lands, from Europe to America to Asia, enriching his knowledge and experience while giving him his first taste of free speech and free ideas. While abroad, Rizal became an impassioned critic of Spanish colonialism, in league with other enlightened liberals and activists like the Austrian scholar Ferdinand Blumentritt. Rizal would also organize La Liga Filipina, a moderate association of Filipinos seeking peaceful rectification of feudal conditions in the Philippines through reforms. Against the backdrop of this European landscape, the genius in Rizal flourished. In fact, in Rizal's own words, in one of his speeches, "Genius has no country. Genius bursts forth everywhere. Genius is like light and air." It was also during this time that Rizal's two novels, Noli Tangere and El Filibusterismo, were printed and published in Europe. When publication of his books led to the harassment and persecution of his family and relatives back home, Rizal decided to return to the Philippines. Upon his arrival in June 1892, Rizal was promptly arrested and thrown into Fort Santiago. A month later, he was exiled to Dapitan, where he lived for 4 years. Even in exile, Rizal lived a useful and fulfilled life. He opened a community school and engaged in farming, fishing, and trading. He built a house for himself and his future wife, Josephine Bracken, whom he met in Dapitan while continuing his medical practice. In 1896, Rizal volunteered for medical service in Cuba. He was on a ship en route to Spain when the revolution broke out. He was sent back to Manila to be tried on charges of insurrection. While on trial, Rizal was incarcerated in Fort Santiago. In December 1896, Rizal was sentenced to death. On the night of his conviction, he penned his greatest poem, Mi Ultimo Adios. This poem, My Last Farewell, was to be found in the fuel receptacle of an alcohol lamp which Rizal gave to Narcisa, one of his sisters, the night before he died.
Paalam na ako. Magulang, kapatid.
Farewell to all I love. Peace has been waiting long. Farewell, sweet foreigner. My true love, my delight. And all that I cherish. Farewell, dear earth, dear life. I die, I shall rest. It is well. In the morning of December the 30th, 1896, at exactly 7:03 a.m., before a crowd of 400 people in Bagong Bayan, Luneta, Manila, Rizal was executed. The death of Jose Rizal catalyzed the Filipino Revolution against Spanish oppression. It served to reawaken in the Filipinos a sense of pride in themselves and in their race. More than that, the true legacy of Rizal to the Filipino people may very well be that he showed them what a Filipino could be. Jose Rizal, decision, poet, linguist, novelist, artist, scientist, historian, educator, nationalist, internationalist. An inspiration for people and nations who cherish freedom and resist oppression in all its forms. A visionary who envisioned a new world order where all nations live together in fraternal harmony. A universal man whose thoughts, ideals, and teachings transcend national boundaries. Jose Rizal, the Filipino national hero. A great Malay, a true citizen of the world.